Why has that done that? God's sake. Good evening and welcome. Excuse my slight bit of errors there. I'm not quite sure what went on with the OBS, but welcome in. And thank you for joining us for the Radical Simracing Endurance Series Round 2, live from Interlagos. I am James Parfitt, and alongside me is Daan Pepels this evening. We'll be bringing you all the action as it happens on track. We are back at my favourite circuit ever in Interlagos, 4.22 kilometres, just in the city of Sao Paulo. And we're currently, as I said the other day, if anybody's watched the broadcast back from the sprint race, 10 left, 4 right, and opened in 1948. 4.309 kilometres is the officials, apparently. 2.677 miles, and we're on the 5th variant of this track, hosting events such as the F1, Stock Car Brazil, TCR South America, the WEC, and the F3000. The original variant of this was over 7.8 kilometres in length and boasted about 16 corners. So there we go. And now we are on the current variant that we are on at the moment. So thank you all for joining us for this amazing endurance series. So what have we got coming up for you? We're coming up to the end of practice at the moment. Then we're going into a 30-minute open qualifying. Then we're going into a 90-minute race. So there you go. The setups are open setups. Race start will be standing start. Pit stops, no regulations. No regulations on tyre changes and fueling. Obviously, they will have to. Fast repairs will be 1, and the incident limit will be drive-through every 15 incidents. The car itself is the SR10, and we're currently in track temperatures of 24 degrees, partly cloudy, sunrise as well, and there will be drop weeks. The tracks are synced up to the Radical series within iRacing, so we are following the officials. And we are currently here at Interlagos, and then on October the 16th we go down to Watkins Glen International. Then October the 30th we go to Fuji International Speedway, and then on November the 13th we go to the Autodromo Nacional Monza. After that we will define the next set of tracks, because we will be into the next season of iRacing, so they will be announced very, very shortly. I think it's time now to welcome in the one and only Mr. Daan Pepels into the booth. Dan, how are you?
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, James. I am doing fine. A track, like you said, has hosted numerous events, multi-class events like this, but yeah, just in general, an amazing track. I love to watch racing around this place. I don't like racing around here myself, but yeah, that's another thing that we won't go into.
No, but it's been quite interesting. So what was the story of round 1, Dan?
The story of round 1 was pretty simple. Pretty simple. For Rudolf Nagel it was. He went from pole to the victory. John McCutcheon had a late joining the session because I think his wife was... something happened to John McCutcheon, but he finished in P2, started a little way down the order, but worked his way up. And Mike Bousson finished in P3.
So there you go. That was the story of round 1. Good evening, Simon Edwards. Good evening, for God's sake. Good evening, young sir, to you. Mr. Adam Hedgecock, I want to touch on the fact that you've messaged me saying sorry about vanishing yesterday. It was vodka related. Now, the only thing I can think of that happened on that is you passed out. There's why you were drinking vodka. So there we go. Oh, no. Stephen Place, I believe there are 3 to 5 races missing this week. We've still got 26 cars on track, mate. So it is still going to be a busy one as well. Don't forget, if you are here for the first time, please subscribe. Give the video a big old thumbs up, and turn on the bells for notifications, because we've got some absolutely insane racing coming up this week on the JPB YouTube channel. We've got a new league launch by Progetto G next on Monday, and they're going to be racing the Italian the series, they've called it, for 3 weeks on a GT3 in ACC, and we started off at Imola. Then we go on Tuesday to the UK Sim Racers MX5 from Phillip Island. That will be live at 20 to 8 in the evening. Then we got the next gen GT3 Silverstone Grand Prix, where we've got 2 races, a 15-minute sprint and an hour-long race as well, and that is taking place on the Silverstone GP circuit. On Thursday, we got the Radical Race Series live from Le Mans. So we've got 6 laps of Le Mans on with the Radical Race Series. Again, we go live at about 20 to 9. That's a little bit later. Then on Friday, we go back into the FBL Sprint Europe AMs and Pros. And, of course, the Americas at 1:30 in the morning. And then we got on Saturday, we got the UTC Touring Car Championship as well. So we'll be having round 3 and 4 there. And trust me, that UTC kicked off last week and was absolutely unbelievable. So for please tune in this week on the JPB YouTube channel, because there is racing pretty much every day for everyone from every series, pretty much every car that you can think of. So there we go. Make sure you join in. Damien G, welcome into chat. Hope you enjoyed your roast chicken. Damien G is our resident foodie, and he had roast chicken for dinner. So well done to Damien G for having roast chicken. Not your normal, nice. Yeah, he didn't normally have his takeout, but he had his roast chicken. So there we go.
Yeah, lovely.
Yeah, I'm sure it probably was. His wife's done it for him. So yeah, his wife did his roast chicken dinner. So there was Damien G eating roast chicken dinner. Me, personally, I've just had a good old pizza and waffles dinner. I fancied something a little bit more straightforward than a roast. So we had pizza and waffles in my house. And I got to admit, it was rather nice. So cutting down on the takeouts, he said, yeah, I bet, mate, with the rising prices of everything, I'm not surprised you've got any money left for takeouts, mate. I'll tell you that much. Because, I ain't got money for takeout, so if you're magicking up money, please let me know. The new healthy me. Really, Damien G? Really? Until I speak to you on Friday when you've had a Chinese or a curry or something like that. Hey, so there we go. But as I say, we are coming towards the end of practice very shortly. We've got 1 minute 15 on the clock at this moment in time before we go into the 30-minute open qualifying. But thank you so much, everybody, for joining us this evening. I think, Dan, if the Interlagos Endurance is anything like the Interlagos AM and Pros in the Americas from last Friday, I think we're in for an absolute barnstorming race, because that Pro race, if you haven't watched it, please go back and watch it. Actually, you should watch them all. But the Pro race especially was absolutely epic racing. And I think we are going to be no different today, young Dan.
No, certainly not. This track, we've raced around here ourselves, James. And we know that it's good for some switchback moves. So just in general, this track produces some amazing racing. We've seen it with other series, and hopefully we're going to see some more of it in the Radical Endurance Series. Yeah,
I think we will. So while we've got 2 seconds, guys, we will have a look back at the championship. So this is the current Pro status in the championship. We've got Rudolf Nagel on 71 points, John McHutchinson on 65, Mike Busson on 60, Lucas Doza on 55, Paul Crabb on 50, Stephen Place on 47, Daniel Sedgley on 44, Sven Matheson is on 42, Henning Haig is on 38, David Walters is on 32, Kettle Larson is on 30, Ivan Bramer is on, where are you going? Ivan Bramer is on 19th, Taya Sattenherg is on 6, and Paul Clark is on 2. Then we've got Marnik Heister, Rafael Blanco, Dennis Kiriakopoulos, who have yet to score. Now in the AMS, give me 2 seconds. Let me just try and sort this out. I'm not quite sure what it's showing you too. In the AMS, Alphonse Ruiz is currently your leader on 35 points. Gary Truby on 28. Daniele Coscaro on 26. Nia Gluskic on 24. David Rolliston 21. Guy Robertson on 17. Paul LeMay on 15. Byron Crawford on 13. Damien G on 10. Michael LeMay from Two Brothers Racing on 8. Sandra Capella on 4. Graham Brown, Colin Wynn, Mark Axelson and Madden Grigic have yet to score. Now in the teams championship currently, SimRC are leading the way with 126 points. Team Redline is second with 125. Team Slowmo in third on 80. Tiger Team on 53. IGL Coating T Racing on 30. Platinum Racing Team on 19. And I Lounge Racing Team on 2 points. So there we go. That is everybody, you guys up to date with the current standings, Dan, and it's looking quite spicy in the teams. We've only got 1 point between SimRC and Team Radline, and I think that could be an interesting battle by the end of the year, I think, because these guys are going to be nothing short of battling all over the place, and they're going to be wanting to really make that difference in that team championship.
Of course. But just you are still quite early on into the championship. This is only the second round of the championship. A lot can happen in between all of these rounds. So, of course, we hope for a good fight till the end of the championship. But there's still a lot that can happen in all the rounds that can make that gap grow a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that's the thing. They've got a lot to do over the next few weeks within the racing series. So, it's not going to be short of a two that they're going to have to try and battle away. And I just think it's quite interesting that at the moment we've got Team Redline and also, Simracing having their own little battles, because I think they're going to be the ones to watch, because there's some very quick drivers in both teams there.
Of course. I think, we have now entered qualifying, and interesting to look in qualifying, of course, what, of course, the time will be. What are we expecting to be a pole time?
1:27.
A 1:27 low, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, 1:27 low. You're kind of expecting, I would have thought. So that would be where I would be looking at for these guys as well. Don't forget as well, guys, today's event is sponsored by iLoungeRacing.co.uk. So please go over and check them out. iLounge Racing have been providing of simulators for the sim racing world. So definitely go and have a look over there. You've got simulators all ranging from about 700 all the way up to about £100,000. So please go and check out iLoungeRacing.co.uk, because they are the sponsors for today's event. So head over there if you want to have a look at some of their sims. And trust me, some of their sim rigs are absolutely incredible. Now, one of the things they tried to achieve at iLounge is to take the hassle out of sim buying for people who don't have much time or experience with sim racing, but would love a sim. So you can go there and try them out, try a few options, and get to discuss specs of the sim to the client's requirements, then deliver and install, run them through everything, and offer ongoing support. So there we go. So it makes it nice and simple for you guys as well. You just get up on track and they give you all the help they need. So head over to iLoungeRacing.co.uk and you can go and check out various sims there as well. Sorry if I missed anything. Well, the only thing you missed, Mr. Hedgecock, is the fact that you turned around and told me that you passed out. So, what more could you ask for? That was it. You and vodka.
He's definitely back now.
He's definitely back now, yeah. We do have 26 cars on track currently at the moment. We do have AMs and Pros. The Pros will be yellow, AMs will be blue, and currently the Pros are led by Nagao, and the AMs are led by Paul LeMay. This time around, he's also got his brother Michael LeMay in here as well from Two Brothers Racing Team. So, yeah, much love to them, and it should be a good one. I'm looking forward to this, Dan.
Yeah, me too. It is going to be difficult now when we have two LeMays in here, because before, of course, we went live, I wanted to ask you, why are there two LeMays? Is it a glitch maybe in the timing? But I didn't know that he had his brother in as well, which is amazing.
Yeah, we got Paul LeMay and Michael LeMay. We do have 15 Pros and 14 AMs on track. So we are in for an absolute incredible evening of racing. And I think they're going to all have to be a little bit careful, because the last thing they want to be doing is tripping up over each other. So, yeah, they do want to be a little bit careful.
Of course. And I think, like you said, 26 drivers for us today. That should at least provide us with some good racing at the beginning, because of course we know with endurance that the gaps do open up a little bit. Something I want to touch on as well is strategies. Last week we saw different strategies, 2 stops, 1 stops, tires going off. It was all very over the place, basically.
Yeah, basically John McHutchison ran a strategy where literally he didn't change tyres. Him and Rudolph, I believe, up front didn't actually change tyres at all. So there we go. Ivan Bramer, me and Marnix have dropped out. Probably internet issues on his side. So I'm going to find out some more details on what that is about. But Ivan Bramer, please tell us what that is about and why you guys have dropped out from the league. Guys, I'm just going to pop you onto the start screen a minute. I just want to have a look at something, because something's really bothering me and I don't like having issues. So just give me 2 seconds and I promise you I will be right back. Right, I'm hoping this resolves an issue I've just had. So bear with, I'm hoping that picks up on the sound issues that was going on there on the broadcast as well. So iRacing was not loud enough where you can actually hear anything, so I just wanted to make sure that that was all set up properly, ready to go, and I believe it now is, so I'm happy about that. So thank you very much for just giving me 2 seconds. Now you can hear the thing. There we go. Hope iRacing is now back up and running for you all as well. Ignore some things that are going on. There's a little bit of a glitch at the moment with OBS. I did have a wonderful moment on Saturday, yesterday actually, where OBS spat out a codec error on me and completely crashed my whole computer in the middle of a broadcast. So I'm hoping it doesn't happen again. I'm sure it won't, but you never know. But if you are here, Ivan Bramer, give us a shout and tell us why you guys have dropped out, why you're not carrying on your own, when you really probably could do, couldn't you?
He says probably internet issues on this side.
Oh, this side. So are they saying that they can't get internet at all over in the Netherlands?
Yeah, basically, because my internet dropped out during a broadcast, which you know everything of.
I do.
And now, seemingly, they have dropped out as well. So it isn't only me. So for some reason, the Netherlands needs to fix their internet as well.
Yeah, maybe. We are coming down to 142. They have looked at then changed the requirements into quali, where we've got down to a 10-minute qualifying session. And currently, Rudolf Nagel is on pole position on a 126.73. So he broke into the 126s there. As we can see, Paul Lemay, Dennis Kiriakopoulos is in the pits. David Rolliston is driving very slowly. Rafael Blanco is another one. Looks like he's had a bit of a rough qualifying on a 128.87. Marin Grigic on a 129.05, and then below that was Stephen Mellis, Davian G. Marnix Heister is back in the session, so is Ivan Bramer, so maybe they're up and running now. Don't think they're going to get a time on the board. Unfortunately, it's going to be these guys starting probably from where they are, 19th and 20th currently. So, yeah, we'll have to see how these guys pan out, but not quite sure what happened there. Ivan Bramer is in 19th. Marnix Heister's just done a time. He's just gone up into 18th. So, looks like they're back up and running, Dan, as we've got the last 46 seconds left of quali.
Marnix and Iwan not having any luck. Marnix, the scores, has done numerous radical events on this track this week. Crashed out of one, but just in general, he's really, really quick. But it seems like, again, some issues just out of his hand, playing, just getting in the way of him.
Well, that's the thing. I think there are only so many things we can control. We can't control internet. We can't control hardware failure. That happens regardless. So all we do is we go live and literally sit here for an hour and a half and pray that nothing's going to break. And it doesn't just happen to us. It happens to everybody who, in turn, broadcasts or done anything along them lines. So qualifying has finished. So let's bring you up the qualifying grid. I will give you a quick speed read through this one because I'm sure the guys will be getting onto the grid quite quickly. So we've got Rudolf Nagel in first, Lucas Dozer in second, Paul Crabb in third, Henning Haig fourth, Mike Buson fifth, Kettle Larsen in sixth, David Walters in seventh. Then we've got the leader of the AMS currently as well, Paul LeMay in eighth, Paul Clark in ninth, Dennis Kiriakopoulos in 10th, David Rolliston in 11th, Michael LeMay is in 12th place. Below that, Rafael Blanco in 13th, Daniele Cascado 14th, Colin Wynn 15th, Sandra Capella 16th, Taya Sattenherg in 17th, Stephen Place in 18th, Marnik Heister 19th, Ivan Bramer 20th, Marin Grigic 21st, Byron Crawford 22nd, Gary Truby 23rd, Guy Robinson is down in 24th place, Stephen Mellis in 25th, and Damien G is in 26th. So there we go. As quickly as we can. Let's go Nagel and Dozer, Hyper teammates going for it. Evening, Mr. Colin Wynn, hope you're well. Our Correa 60, much love to you. Damien G, wrong setup for qualifying. Uh-oh, I hope you got it right. Don't forget your fuel for the race, mate. Just to let you know, because otherwise you will have problems. And you don't want that. So,
hopefully we're in time with that.
Yeah, make sure you sort your fuel out, buddy. So there is Rudolf Nagel. See how these guys do here this evening for an hour and a half endurance from Interlagos. We're just waiting for Rafael Blanco to get out on to track.
It's taking him a long old time.
Yeah, he's still got 20 seconds So hopefully he should be fine. Sunlight Blanco not to be out on track, so I'll be quite surprised. There we go, he's on now. Right, here we go, down into turn 1. We're going to have them racing radicals coming along. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we are green, green, green as these SR10s come storming through. It's a big crash on the start-finish line. Kel Larsen, big crash on the start-finish line. Look at them all getting involved. Oh, no. Somebody spun up at the start. And look at that. Sergio Capella, Damien G, Henning Haig. Damien made it through, sorry. Michael LeMay, Lucas Dozer, Kel Larsen, Sergio Capella, Guy Robinson, all in the pits, all ready. And I think we're going to look at that straight away and find out what happened there, because I've got this funny feeling somebody spun up at the start and literally that killed everybody else's race. So let's have a look. I believe we're going to be further down with Lucas Dozer. Yeah, he spins up, look. And everybody just comes piling through. LeMay's in there. Oh, Colin Wynn. Oh, no, that's not a good start for the SR10s at Interlagos. And poor Lucas Dozer just seemed to be the main protagonist of that one. So involved in that was Kettle Larsen, Henning Haig, Michael LeMay, Lucas Dozer, Daniele Cascado, Byron Crawford, Guy Robinson, Kettle Larsen, Damien G, Sergio Capella. Not many. Dan, you know what I mean? Not the greatest of starts there, was it?
Yeah, exactly. 8 cars involved, I think, in that start crash. Unbelievable. He got at the line and got, well, basically spun from behind, and, well, that was his last famous word.
That was it. Game over.
Yeah.
Game over. No, Marcel, we don't do red flags. They do have a fast repair. They can get, if they can get the car back into the pits, they can fast repair. David Walters is gone into the pits as well as we watch Paul Crabb just take the lead away from Rudolf Nagel currently as well, being chased down by Mike Busson in third. Behind that, Rafael Blanco runs a little bit wide. Paul Clark here is currently in fourth place in class, 5th overall. Marnik Heister is a big gainer. He's just gained 13 positions in all of this as well, and is currently attacking Rafael Blanco. They're going to look at possibly, maybe not, Marnik, take it easy. You don't need to go 3 wide just yet, young sir. That's never good. But the other cars are back out in track. Guy Robinson, Kettle Larsen are all back out as well. As you can see on the back end of the track map there, 19 and 20, they are back. They do have fast repairs, so they have got it done. Marin Grigic has been involved in his own little incident. Hopefully this isn't too drastic. Oh, going down into the Lago on the brakes, too hard, and around he goes. There we go.
Whee.
Look at that. What more could you ask
Classic.
for? Yeah, apart from a commentator with a golden crystal ball. And currently Ivan Bramer is chasing down David Rollison as well. All right, so let's get this out of the way now. You know, not the greatest of starts from Lucas Dozer, spun up, and everybody else kind of was involved, right? The only upside is he's got an hour and 30 minutes.
James, do you think he spun on his own, or that he got help?
Well, I think the funny thing is, it looked like he locked up. And the problem is when he locked up and he was spinning off the line, then he's trying to stop and hold it. And by that point, everybody else has come through. And I'll show you what I mean now. If you have a look.
I think he got help from behind.
Here, look, he spins up, locks up, and then he goes round. That was the team slow-mo of Henning Haig. See, the problem is Haig didn't benefit from that. You know, Haig put himself in that position if that was the situation with the team slow-mo, and he ended up going round as well. So there was really kind of no benefit for Henning Haig, who was just now sat on the start line, you know, trying to get up onto the back of the field, because he's currently down, all the way down in 11th, and has got David Rollison for company. However, Dennis Kiriakopoulos is trying to make a move. He's just gone round Damien G there. So there is Dennis as well. But that's the problem when you spin up on the start. There's nowhere for anybody behind you to go anywhere, Dan. You know, I'm not quite sure what we would have thought anybody else would have been able to do. They were all getting off the line, and they weren't expecting him to spin up, I guess.
I have a funny feeling, James, that it was just wheel spin, trying to get off the off his grid spot, and then Henning Haig, it looks like he just not anticipates that he's going to go to the right, of course. Normally he drives straight from his from a grid spot, but then he just drives straight into the back of him. Maybe a moment of lack of concentration for Henning Haig, but the thing that he's now done, of course, he had to go into the pit lane, and already take his fast repair. So that's very early on, and that is not only him, but a lot of drivers had to take their wildly fast repair very early on in this race.
Yeah, no, I'm going against what you're saying, Dan. I don't think that Haig could have done a lot. As we can see here, Marin Grigic trying to make his way back through the field. I don't think Haig could have done a lot because he's trying to get off the start. Dozer spun his wheels up, didn't go anywhere, got a big dose of bog down, and Haig was just trying to go forward. And I can't really put the blame. That would just be a racing incident for me, because at the end of the day, there's nowhere for anybody to go. I
think, James, if he would have reacted to that and maybe brake as a reaction, he would have been the one who would have been crashed into. Yeah. So anyways, I think with that start, as unlucky as it might sound, we would have had a crash like that maybe anyways. Yeah, because he would have tried to stop the SR10 from hitting Dozer, and that would have unfortunately ended up him getting punted into as well. But there's a nice little tidy battle here. We've got Marin Grigic, Damien G, Byron Crawford and Stefan Mellis. Also further up, we've got Ivan Bramer. He's got Teo Sattenberg behind him, trying to chase down Gary Truby from Team BSR in front of him at the moment. Paul Krebs opened up about a 2.3 second gap at the moment out front. Mike Busson has just cleared Rudolf Nagel. So whether or not Rudolf Nagel has got any issues, I'm not entirely sure about at the moment. But that is Mike Busson up into second place. David Rollison has been involved in his own little incident, and we can have a quick look back at that one now. Who is this behind him? Ivan Bramer? Oh, yeah. I think so. Oh, but Ivan Bramer looks up himself, goes off the track. Oh, was that actually a spin? Oh, no.
No.
Well, I think that is a case of holding your brakes, isn't it, James?
Maybe, but it was, yeah. There's been a few loose incidents this evening, and I think they're going to have to try and settle down a little bit. You know, they're starting to get spread out already, which for earlier on lap 5, not an ideal scenario for anybody, because to be honest, they don't really want to be spread out already. Do you know what I mean? You got Dennis trying to chase down Colin Wynn here. Colin is no slouch in this SR10, so Dennis has got a tough little job on his hand. But Dennis is naturally quick. He's quick. He drives on a G920 steering wheel. And, well, we've seen Dennis, what Dennis can do. He's insanely quick at times. So, yeah, poor old Colin Wynn has got his hands cut out for him. Let's just put it that way. So we're going to have a look back at their last possible sectors as well from Dennis and Wynn. So here we go down the straightaway on the right-hand side. Here's Colin Wynn on the left. There's Dennis Kiriakopoulos coming down into turn 1, and I believe that is Dennis. Job done from Wynn. So Dennis there getting the job done, and passes Dennis Kiriakopoulos. It goes up into 8th place. Nice and easy there, mate, wasn't it?
Yeah, nice and easy. But I am asking myself, where is John McHutchison? Was it his wife's birthday that he couldn't be here?
Yeah, I think he was away.
Yeah. But yeah, that's got to be, or this might then be his drop week.
Yeah, it'd probably take it as a drop week, I would have thought. I remember him saying he was away. I can't remember what the reason was. Maybe he was just going away. But yeah, so we've got no John McHutchison this week. But Team Radline, no, are doing a splendid start for John already. Paul Crabb in first, Mike Busson in second. So they're not being slouches. Stephen Place is down in 11th at the moment. David Rollison is heading out of the pits, and he's just come out behind his teammate David Walters. So these guys are now together from the Tiger team. Paul LeMay and Marnik Heister. Marnix is up into 5th overall, 4th in class. Paul LeMay is just winning the AMS currently by a nice little bit of country mile. He's got about a 6-second gap back to Colin Wynn, Dan.
He is really, really quick this evening. I don't know what it is. At Spa as well, it was... I don't think the gap was that big for the AM win.
No.
Was it?
No, I don't think it was.
And that was at the end of 90 minutes. And now basically the gap is already bigger than that. Which is crazy to see.
Yeah, but there wasn't a massive crash in the first round.
That's also true. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that's one of them things, isn't it? There wasn't a big old crash, and you know, that's kind of caused a mass reshuffling of where everybody you would expect people to be compared to where they actually are. And I think that's one of the things that we've got to look out for, is obviously, oh, Paul Lemay goes in deep there. That's going to allow Marnik Heister to try and run him round the outside. Is this going to be Marnik up into 4th place overall? It is. Paul Lemay, choose your battles. There's no need to be battling with Marnik Heister. You are leading the AMS. You still do get the 35-point win as well. So, you know, no problems for you there, Sunshine. But you just keep going along on your merry way, Mr. Lemay. You're doing a fine job currently at the moment. I think Rafael Blanco is going to get this at the end of turn 1. I'll be very surprised if he doesn't. Now, this long left-hander, Dan. Can you tell me anything interesting about this long left-hand corner?
This one?
Yeah.
Well, the only thing that I know from that left-hander is that Max Verstappen almost spun there, but got it pointing in the right way.
Okay.
And Felipe Massa spun on his last home race, or what would have been his last home race at that time, but he continued for another year. That's basically the only thing that I know about that long left-hander.
Did you know that long left-hand corner is not one continual left-hander?
I did not know, although I have raced around there, so that it's not good for me, but no, I did not know that, and I did not notice it.
No, did you not know also as well that that corner has actually got, before they get down into turn 1, has actually got 3 other corner names that lead us round down into the start-finish straight. So
I did not know. That's very interesting.
I know, I'm full of it this evening. I've done my work on Interlagos, as I say, because I love this circuit. But I'll run you through it next time when we go round. We'll jump on the roll bar with Paul Lemay. He's managed to get back past Marnik Heister there as well. But here is the... Okay, so look, we're running around Mugello now, okay? So we're going to go around the left-hander of Mugello, drop down the order, going to be looking on the exit on the right-hand side, take as much, and then we're going to go all the way right. We're going to come into Juncao. So this is part 1. Right. Now we're going to go left into Cafe, which is this part here. And then around this long-hander, we've got Subido de Boxes. That is the other turn name for this. And now this one here translates into the bleachers on the right-hand side. There is a Portuguese name for it, but I can't actually remember what it's called. I think it's Aquicriades or something, which translates into the bleachers, before we go down into Curva 1. Then we go through the Center S's, and then we go around the long-hander of Curva de Sol. So there we go. Track knowledge for you, Dan. Track knowledge.
Interesting fact, and I've said this 1,000 times on other broadcasts, Interlagos means between the lakes.
Sorry?
Interlagos, in Brazilian, or I don't know what language they speak.
Portuguese.
Very bad for me. Portuguese. Interlagos means between the lakes.
Between the lakes?
Yes, Interlagos.
Oh, very nice. As we see Gary Truby here, he's kind of having a battle with Colin Wynn at this moment in time. This is going to be an interesting one. We'll stay on board with Gary Truby here. Now, we did an absolute amazing shot of this the other day in the pro final, and Henning Haig and Rafael Blanco. We were that close underneath the SR10 in front on the nose. We could literally see inside the car. And we can see just about there, but we were coming down into Juncao, and this is where we literally were inside the SR10 in front. And it was incredible. We were a lot closer than where we are currently at the moment as well. So fair play to these guys. But I think we're going to be in for a little bit of a nice run race now. As you can see, Mike Bousson being chased down by Rudolf Nagel currently as well. Marnik Heister has cleared Paul Lemay. Dennis Kiriakopoulos has just taken over through Paul from Paul Clark. Paul Clark did manage to get him back not long after that. So Paul Clark and Dennis Kiriakopoulos are swapping positions backwards and forwards as well. Now, what's the situation here, Dan? We've got hour and 15 on the clock. You know, we're on an open setup. There's going to be lots of different strategies going around. And we've had people who haven't changed tyres due to the fact of the new tyre build in the pit lane. Now, anybody that doesn't know currently, last season, before iRacing went and did an update, the fuel and tyres got done at the same time. So you can go into the pits and you can get fuel, and while you're getting fuel, your tyres would be done. Not so much this season. Not only does it cost you an extra 20 seconds now, because your fuel gets done first and then your tyres get done after. So it costs you an extra 20 seconds, and that's why the first race in Okayama, Rudolph Nagel and John McHutchinson didn't change tyres because it wasn't worth the tyre loss. So do you think we're going to be anywhere near that strategy this evening?
I think, James, Rudolph Nagel has shown that he has the pace, but for some reason, for some weird reason, he's now dropped down to third. So I think Rudolph Nagel is already busy with trying to save his tires, and that's why he's dropped down a little bit.
Yeah, I believe so, probably as well, but I still wouldn't be surprised that he is looking at making his move back up as well, because he's just naturally quick. And Colin Wynn now has got a nice little Gary Truby, Taya Suttonherg from Team Slow-Mo, and Ivan Bramer goes round. He's now into the pits, Ivan Bramer. So, and I wonder why he's in the pits actually, because that didn't look too horrendous going down into turn one. He just kind of looked like he lost it all on his... Oh, no. Oh, okay.
Oh, that is quite a hard hit.
Yeah. So, that's never good.
No, it isn't, and that has resulted in Ivan Bramer into the pit lane. He did have quite a good start, up 12 positions, as was Marnix Heister. But yeah, that start, completely undone now. Yeah,
and that's the thing now. There's a lot of people that are kind of out of sync where they should be. People should be at the front and now in the mid-pack or battling down at the back. So it's going to be, we're getting to this lull period that we have within a race where, you know, you get the start and then you get the lull and then you get the mad ending. And I think we're in that period now where most people go and have a sleep when the Formula One's on, because they've watched the start, they got to about lap 20, then they look up and see it's 71 laps, so they go to sleep for an hour on the sofa and wake up with about 10 laps remaining. You know what I mean? So, yeah, some people do. Gary Truby is going to have a go at Colin Wynn at the moment. He's going to send it up the inside. Gary Truby, is he going to stop that car though? Oh, Trube, stop it. No!
Oh, no! That was inevitable.
Soon as Truby started running out of road, that was unfortunately what was going to happen. And Colin Wynn is not having the best of luck at this moment in time. I've got to be honest. He's not had the best of luck in the race in general. And unfortunately, didn't get it there either. But that was kind of all on Gary Truby, I've got to be honest, but Terje Suttonherg now has cleared Gary Truby and is going to be making his way on through the order. Stefan Mellis is having a battle with Byron Crawford here as well. So Stefan Mellis, one of our privateers in the AMS, he is currently down in 15th place overall, 7th in class, so that's not too bad at all. But there we go. What more can you ask for apart from epic racing? 1:12 left on the clock, Dan, and already we're starting to see little gaps appearing.
Those gaps were there early on, James, but something I want to touch on. If you do go to sleep now on your sofa, you've missed that, what just happened. So don't go to sleep and keep with us, because as you just seen, it'll be amazing racing throughout this whole 90 minutes.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying that you go to sleep. I'm not recommending that you go to sleep, because please don't. But if you are going to go to sleep, don't forget to give the video a big old thumbs up before you nod off, and hit the subscribe button and turn on the bells, because you don't want to forget after you've woken up. So make sure you do. If you're going to do that as well. Henning Haig is trying to come back through the field as well. The only trouble for Henning Haig is he has just gone past. That is Guy Robinson. He's just lapped there as well. Guy Robinson has gone down the order. But Henning Haig doing a 1:28.89. Now, I was racing with Henning pretty much most of this week. It looked at well onto the 1:27 mark, easily. So Henning there obviously was caught up at the beginning as well. So maybe Henning's having a little bit of a damage issue. That is Stefan Mellis just got shooting off to the side there. Stefan Mellis in Interlagos has just gone shooting off down the side of the order, and I'm going to probably guess he's locked up on his entry on the way in. Paul Lemay has now got Dennis Kyrgiakopoulos for company there, Dan, and Paul's done he's done a stellar job. He's not in the pro race, is he, as such? So there's no real reason for him to start getting involved in any of this.
No, not at all, but the gap has opened up now to about 10 seconds to Gary Truby. But it has slowed down a little bit of pace from Paul Lemay. Of course, that gap opened up to 6 seconds quite early on. but maybe with some slipstream from the guys ahead, or from maybe Dennis Kyrgiopoulos, who we know of is very fast, he can open up that gap a little bit more.
Yeah, Dennis is going to be all over the back. They're just sort of lapping Sandro Capella there, who was caught up in that major incident crash at the beginning. That did involve 8 cars. Not an ideal scenario, but I think we can. Let's see if we can go and have a look back at that and see if we can decipher what actually happened here. Try and go on board with Henning Haig and see if we can see on Henning's nose. So there is, look, Dozer spins up, right? He wasn't going anywhere. Yes, all right, that caused it, okay? That did kind of cause the collision. Look, here comes everybody else. People are up in the air and everything. So it all got a little bit wrong. But if he hadn't spun up, that wouldn't have happened, would it? Dan.
I couldn't see the replay for some reason, but yes, I do know what happened. I've seen the replay numerous times, but yeah, if he wouldn't have spun up those rear tires at the start, that basically wouldn't all have happened. I'm not saying that he was, of course, the one who's caused that, but because of him spinning up his tires, the cause of that was that everyone behind him kind of backed up and said, Dennis Kyrgiopoulos is now past Paul Lemay. And Paul Lemay is now going to look and try and stay in that slipstream. But if he didn't do that, of course, that would have never happened. But I think if who is it now? Henning Haig did brake, then he would be the one who would be crashed into. Because at the end, you all have to react. And the further back in the field you go, the longer it's going to take those guys to react, and the closer towards the car in front they're going to get before they can react. Okay. So I think in the end, because of that, we would have had a crash somewhere anyways.
Okay. I agree with you. I think that's the thing. I agree. Mr. Hedge reminds me of the Next Gen start. Now, yeah, if anybody hasn't gone and watched the Next Gen GT3 start from Road America, I think Road America, just go and have a look at a 16-car pile-up on a GT3 on a formation lap before we've even got across the start line, because, yeah, that was quite something else in its own right. So have a look back. The video is on the YouTube channel, so you can go check it out. But there was a nice little pile-up. I think it was about 16 cars in the end at the beginning. Well, it was on as the green flag. So for third place made a move, got caught out with fourth, and then it all just went a little bit Pete Tong after that. And there was 16 cars come strolling along the Road America straight before they'd even hit the start line going up in the air. So yeah, that's a race that you should definitely go back as well. And don't forget, you can go back and watch the pros as well, because that pro race on Friday was just unbelievable. But we're going to keep an eye on Henning Haig at the moment. He's trying to get onto the back of Byron Crawford. Henning's last lap time 1:28.66. Byron's on a 1:29.13. This is the thing for Henning. Now, he's quick, Dan. I've seen him all week, right? And he's kind of dominated officials. But he just can't... I don't know if he's got damage because of that situation that happened at the beginning.
He shouldn't have.
Yeah, he just... Yeah, but he just... I don't think he went into the pits. He hasn't been in, Dan.
Okay, so I think if that is the case, we might see an improvement of pace after his first pit stop. Of course, we do think that we are getting towards the window of a first pit stop for the two stoppers. Of course, you want to pit after half an hour, basically. That would be the ideal strategy for the two stop. On fuel, that is, because you could only do one stop and save those tires. But if you have damage, if that is the case for Henning Haig, then his tires will be going off at a way more rapid rate than the guys ahead of him.
I think that's the thing as well. There is this is going to be one of the challenges for Tyre Deck. I think I was sent a little bit of inside information earlier on, and yeah, I'm just having a look at this information I was sent, and I had a little birdie message me and I can't give away my source because that's just, you know, not right. Here's some information that's being discussed that you could probably use for your broadcast. Now listen up. This is the real first test of the tyres, where in this could be the factor. We're all borderline of making it a no tyre change. It could be the last 10 laps. There could be a right handful. Managing the right front with brake bias is very key. Pitting for tyres is about 17 to 20 seconds. So there's two faults. It is going to be going deep run, or basically go balls deep, or run your own race managing your tyres. I think there's going to be some varied strategies this evening.
Yeah, and I think as well, like you said, tyre deck is going to be an interesting one, because we do know, of course, that in iRacing there is no such thing, I think, as a puncture. But if you get to a 0% on the tires, your car basically glitches into the ground, which should be like a puncture. As we see Henrik now coming into the pit, and I call it, I think, a lap ago, almost on the hour he wants to pit. And yeah, I think if it's the case that he has damage, which it doesn't look like from the front of his car, we will see an increase in pace now. It could also be the case that he was just stuck behind the cars in front of him.
Yeah, but I think we are going to be seeing it it's going to be increasing now, because Henning Haig is quick, and I think the times that he's been doing is no justification to what he can do, and I think he's going to get done, basically get fueled up and get out. I'd be surprised if he doesn't take his fast repair just to clear himself off, to be honest. But there is the link to the tweet to the Next Gen GT3, guys. If you want to go and have a look, there's some stunning photos on there from Mr. Hedgecock as well, but then also the link is timestamped into the video at the moment that the crash happened. So please go and have a look back through, and you will see a wonderful pile up, and a commentator who literally turned around at one point and went, I don't know who is in the race, because at that one point I didn't have a clue. So yeah.
Was it at the point where you turned away because there were so many crashes that you didn't want to see it anymore?
No, I literally, mate, there was so many cars going up in the air, so much smoke coming out the middle of the crash site, shall we say, that I wasn't actually sure who made it through and who hadn't. I had to give it a few minutes before it actually settled down, so I knew who had made it through the major collision crash site first and who hadn't actually made it through. So, yeah, if you haven't seen it, click on the link while you sat there down and go and have a look, because it is absolutely unbelievable. Stefan Mellis here with Damien G and Stephen Place. Stephen Place just takes over the spot. Oh, he hasn't at the moment. Damien G said, no, Mellis has gone round. Mellis has gone round. That was locking of the brakes. That was too much pace down into turn one. And unfortunately for Mellis, he has gone round. And this should be interesting. Henning Haig and Lucas Dozer are back together on track again. Hopefully we don't have the same things. We do not. Damien G and Stephen Place. If Damien can hold back Stephen Place, that would be absolutely incredible. And I think from there, they've really got to be giving it a good old go, Damien G. Get out your defensive boots, mate, and give it some, because at the end of the day, I think you really kind of put on a show, mate. Put on a show. That's what we want to see. Mike Bousson is up front. He's being chased down by Rudolf Nagel. So Mike Bousson now got Nagel tucked up right behind him at the same time. Daniele Cascado we haven't touched on. I'm not sure if he was involved in the beginning fracas, but he is currently all the way down in 23rd place, 10th overall. So that's not good, especially as he's got Mike Bousson and Rudolf Nagel behind him. So, yeah, he's going to have to really kind of pull his fingers out, I think, and see how he gets on there, Dan.
Yeah. I think, James, yes, he was involved in that start crash. There were numerous yellow team red line cars involved in it, and I do think that Daniele Cascado was one of them.
Oh, okay. So that'd be why he's down where he is currently at the moment, then?
Yeah.
Right, okay. So poor Daniele Cascado has been down the order, involved in the fracas of the start line, pretty much. Dan, wouldn't you say?
Well, what can you say about it? I've seen it in real racing as well. This is just crap to take a look at. This is Henning Haig, who's just come out of the pit lane, together with, I think it's Dolzer and Larsen.
Yeah, Dozer and Rolliston, yeah. Dozer and Rolliston. You got Rolliston in front of these guys as well. Henning Haig in the middle of there for Team Slow-Mo. And there is Lucas Dozer trying to make his way back through. He's going to get the inside into Interlagos. And that is Lucas Dozer up the order currently for Simracing. But Henning Haig is looking at coming back at the moment. They're going to be side by side running up into the Ferradura now. Where is this going to be? There's got to be room left. If Haig's going to run him around the outside, he's not going to have much room if he lets that run out there. Poor Lucas Dozer. Oh, Dozer manages to keep out in front as well. He's gone in a little bit deep off his normal line into that Ferradura corner before we run in all the way now up into Bigo de Pado, the right-hander, where they were expecting to basically, they've got to be locking up as much as the curb as they can. And now we're on the run down through Mugello and down into Juncao, the last left-hander on the circuit. Don't forget as well, guys, this is going to be some absolute epic action. We are coming into the pit stops window. We're going to be seeing it very, very shortly. 59 minutes on the clock. It depends on what these guys do. Rolliston's going to go all the way to the left. He's defending like an absolute trooper. Can Rolliston keep back down? Dozer before he goes down into turn one. Rolliston's got that inside line. Henning Haig is looking at coming through as well. And here they come now, rushing down towards us. Oh, Dozer's got him on the inside. I think Dozer's got him on the inside. And that, unfortunately, there for David Rolliston. He's managed to hold it again. He got back again. David Rolliston managed to hold the position. Here is Dozer now. He's going to be looking up the inside of Interlagos. Can Rolliston run him around the outside? Oh, slight little bit of contact there as well. Dozer's got a massive off track. And Henning Haig has, well, he kind of come out of that one a winner there, Dan, didn't he?
Yeah, I think it braked a little bit earlier and kind of anticipated that move happening, of course, that small little incident happening, of course. Lucas Dolzer diving down the inside had to take a little bit of avoiding action there.
He definitely did, but there we go. They managed to survive it, and that's all that really matters currently at this moment in time. Christabel 90, come on, Nagler, just the winner gets a Tiger-Nesser. I'm not quite sure what that is, Dan. Help me out. Do you know what that is?
I do not know either. So
okay.
Maybe it sounds something German, which I should know, but I don't know really.
Oh, okay. Well, unfortunately for this man, he's gone down the order, and poor old Damien G has had a incident as he runs down into Mugello. He's coming down into Juncao. He's going to lock them brakes up on the entry into Juncao. There we go.
Oh no. Oh, he
manages to hold it though, so he might be all right.
From all the incidents you can have, that's probably the least, the one that loses you the least amount of time.
Yeah, however, that didn't look tidy either from Lucas Dozer and David Rolliston, so I'm going to have a look back and see how that one all come back. Oh, that was earlier on. But that didn't look tidy there on that start break. But Mike Busson and Rudolf Nagel currently are first and second at this moment in time as well. So Mike there in the front in the team Radline car as well, and Rudolf behind him from Simracing. So let's see how this one pans out, and hopefully these guys can keep it clean for this 90 minutes. Now let's have a look. We haven't brought you up the gainers and losers over this race, and I think you can see Walters, LeMay, Haig and Rolliston down 9. Biggest gainers up front is Marnix Heister, he's up at 14. Gary Truby will be 13. Byron Crawford will be on 11. You know, we both know Marnix, and if he comes out with a nice little result here, he's going to be unbearable, isn't he?
Of course he will. He's had some tough luck in some other series, and I think to finish the week off, because of course this will be one of the last league races that he will do in the Radical on this track, because of course next week we will go to another. To finish the week off with a result in the top 5, it would be awesome for him.
Yeah, he has had a little bit of a rough week, and you know, I think, as you say, if he does finish off here, not only has he done really well, but he is going to be completely unbearable to talk to because he'll see all this data and he'll be like, see, I gained 14 positions and I finished in the top 5 and he's being chased down by Dennis Kyrgiakopoulos. He's chasing down Dennis Kyrgiakopoulos, should we say. So Marnik says, ooh, no, you're fuel saving. He backed right out of that and he could have had that inside line, didn't he?
I think he is, but James, if you look at someone to fuel save behind, I don't think Dennis Kyrgiakopoulos is someone to do it behind badly, or someone badly to do it behind.
No.
Put it that way.
No, I think if there's anybody, you know, if there's anybody that I could pick, I think, you know, Kyrgiakopoulos is the kind of the right person, but you know, from Marnix's point of view, he's on 54 minutes remaining. He's got to be thinking about his pit strategy very shortly. Michael LeMay and Kettle Larson are having an interesting battle down here. Larson's got the fastest time on the board on a 1:27.759. He's now just going to go up the inside of Michael LeMay. Michael's got to leave him room on that exit, otherwise he's going to have nowhere to go apart from into the side of Kettle Larson. And that is Kettle Larson up into currently 20th place, 13th overall. So I think that's going to be Kettle Larson trying to come back through the field. Obviously, he was definitely involved in that first incident at the beginning. Paul Clark and Teo Sandberg here. Paul on the left-hand side from iLounge Racing, the sponsor for today. And Teo on the car number 87 from Team Slow-Mo are still having a little bit of a battle as well. Don't forget, guys, if you do want to get involved, all the links are down in the description below, so please go and hit them up. And if you want to get yourself involved in some great SR10 radical action, please do so, because yeah, it's going to be a rather exciting championship here this year, and Marnix is still chasing down Dennis Kyrgiakopoulos. Now, there's been a few incidents with Colin Wynn and Daniele Cascado. Whether or not this is together, there is Colin Wynn.
Gonna lock the brakes as well.
Yeah, I think that's he's going to go round, but I'm more worried about what happened to this man not long after. Cascado come in as well, and he has an incident a few minutes after this. So we'll keep an eye on Daniele Cascado just to see what he gets up to. But yeah, there we go. Oh, Daniele, lock it up, lock it up, lock it up, lock it up. Good boy, well done, stayed out the wall. So there we go, and it's looking like Steven Mellis is having a bit of a rough time at the moment as well. He's been involved in another incident, but Mike Bousson and Rudolf Nagel are literally right behind each other currently at the moment as well. As Marnik Heister goes into the pits, Dave Rollison is still in. Ivan Bramer's been in there for 21 minutes. Daniele Cascado has just started going in as well. So I wonder if Ivan has got an issue there as well. There's a message going out for next Friday from Rob Williams. Not sure if I'm going to make next week. I've pulled my Achilles tendon. Yeah, I know, that's never good. So that'll be Robert Williams out of the sprint, the World Cup on Friday, unfortunately. So yeah, poor Rob Williams will miss that one. Yeah, never good on your Achilles, is it?
No, never. But James, just a thing that I want to point out on. We surpassed the goal of 100 subscribers, which I want to congratulate you for.
Thank you. Yeah, we hit up 106, which isn't bad. Not bad at all, considering, what, a month, Dan, if that?
Yeah, exactly. In just a month, that's not bad at all.
Yeah, so in 1 month, we've hit 106 subscribers. I think last week alone, we'd hit a milestone of about 2,000 views across the board. So JPB is growing, and we're growing well. And as I say, the channel's not very old. So help us out. If you are here and you fancy hitting that subscribe button, that would be absolutely amazing. Don't forget to give the video a big old thumbs up as well. And if you do watch it back, drop a comment in there as well, because comments work amazingly with YouTube for this algorithm people keep telling me about. So drop a comment as well, and let us know how we did and what you liked and what you didn't like and what we could do better and how bad we actually are, or you know, how wonderful we are. I'm hoping we don't get the first one out of them too, Dan. I'd prefer the how good we are.
Well, how wonderful we are.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
Not
I
how
don't know.
bad. Not how bad we are.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. Would be nice.
Yeah, I'll take the wonderful one any single day of the week. But thank you to everybody who has subscribed to the channel. It's been an amazing growth spurt, shall we say, for a new channel that's not been going very long at all. So thank you for those that all have subscribed to the JPB YouTube channel, and look forward to the racing that we're bringing you every single day next week. And it is 7 days next week as well. And also we'll be going over onto the 10th as well. So from where are we currently as well? From October the 10th, there will be 2 broadcasts in a night. On the Friday and on the Saturday, we'll be bringing you. On Friday, we'll be bringing you 3. On Saturday, we'll be bringing you 2. And on the Sunday, me and Dan are back again. So, yeah, there's a lot going on currently as well. So, send it slow-mos. Yeah, we'll tell you, Sattenberg is biding his time round Paul Clark. He can't quite make it through, though, Tackenheim. So, unfortunately for him, Paul Clark is a stout driver. And he's really putting him under the... making Teo work really, really hard at the moment. So, poor Teo there has just literally got to try and... close the gap up on Paul Clark and trying to make him work at the moment, but he is just not having a good old time trying to keep on to the back. So we'll have to keep an eye on that one and see how they get on. So yeah,
it's an interesting one. Actually, it's he's been stuck behind him for quite a long while now. Marnix Heister has been into the pit lane. He has made his pit stop, has come out behind Marin Krisic, if I said that correctly. I hope I did. Grigic. Perfect.
No worries.
Got it right the second time. But it's going to be interesting to see where Dennis Kyrgiakopoulos is going to come out, because it was looking like Marnix Heister was actually using Dennis Kyrgiakopoulos as a tow to try and tow him along to the top 3. So maybe that now with Marnix spitting early, that tow is broken a little bit.
Yeah, hopefully. We'll have to see how he gets on, because Marnix has just cleared Marin Grigic, and Colin Wynn is now behind him as well. Dennis Kyrgiakopoulos is kind of in his own little world. Rudolf Nagel has just got past Mike Bousson, so Rudolf Nagel there cleared Mike Bousson. I'm probably guessing that's on the run down into turn 1. That was earlier on, so those guys have swapped positions as well. David Waters from Tiger Team is chasing down BSR Damien G. So yeah, they're trying to close it up as well. I just went for a chat with Ivan Bramer. Unfortunately, he's literally done for the weekend. He's tired, and he's going to be looking at going crashing and going to bed. So albeit he may be in the pit stop and has been there for 27 minutes, he just said he's literally knackered. David Roddiston there for 5 minutes, and Lucas Dozer's been in the pits for another 2 minutes on top of that as well. So I think Lucas has either been involved in something again, but I can't see anything popping up. So we'll have to just see how he gets on that one. Paul Clark still got Teo Sattenberg behind him for company here, Dan, and 47 minutes. Now, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 drivers not yet pitted. 47 minutes remaining. Obviously, it's an open setup, so you can take whatever fuel you can come off the line with. Do we think they've run full fuel? Would you run full fuel off the line?
With the strategies that have been played out last week, yes, I would. I would try and do exactly what they did last week. Do not change tires, only do fuel. And of course, the more fuel you take on board at the beginning, the less fuel you have to put in your pit stop. Which will equal less time standing still.
Yeah,
which we all know is not good.
It's not good that you stand still shorter time than going sitting there for longer.
Standing still is not good. If you're racing, standing still in the pits, as we know from longer endurance races, it's never good. No. You want to stay. Usually, if we talk about 24 hours of Le Mans Daytona, that's usually won by the team that has had the least amount of pit time.
Okay. Now, I do understand where you're coming from, right? But some things are just not your fault, are they?
No, of course they're not.
And pit stops that you need to be having aren't necessarily your fault. That you're. I get what you mean in a race like this, right? In this kind of hour and a half sprint, mini sprint endurance. I'll come up with some other name for it next time, but I can't think of what we call it at the moment. But I get what you're saying here, but in the 24 hours of Le Mans or 24 hours of Daytona, you will run until your tank's empty, you'll go in the pits, you'll come back out, fill all the way back up and run until your tank's empty, and you'll repeat the process over and over. Now, you're going to repeat that at least once an hour, depending if you're in a GT3. LMP, you're going to be looking at 3 pit stops within 2 hours. So, you know, you're going to be doing a lot of these pit stops. The only thing you'll want to try and avoid is get your fuel calculations right where you're not splash and dashing in the last hour. But, yeah, I understand what you're saying from this perspective, but I don't quite get it from a 24-hour race, because everybody's going to be doing the same thing, aren't they?
No. If you fuel save, like 5 minutes every stint in a GT, that will mean by the end of the 20th hour, you will have a full hour saved of fuel, which means you don't have to stand still for a minute and a half usually, or stand still for a minute and drive through the pit lane for half a minute, which is quite big time in an endurance race. Of course, if you then keep saving, you will save 20 minutes. And you only have to refuel 40, or you'll save 15 minutes, and you only have to refuel 45 minutes in the last pit stop, which will mean that you're stationary for 5, maybe 7 to 8 seconds less. So that will gain you over an endurance race, maybe 2 minutes, if you play it out well enough. And 2 minutes, try and gain that on the track. That's really difficult to do.
Okay, now I do fully understand what you're saying. I get that, yeah. I do understand that. We've got Kettle Larson in the pits, Michael LeMay, Colin Wynn, Dozer's still in, and obviously Ivan Bramer's still in as well. Stefan Mellis has just gone up through the order. As we can see now, Paul Clark is in, and so is Teo Sattenberg. So Teo didn't fancy trying anything different to Paul Clark. He's just literally covered him off there as well. So it's whether or not they're going to go for tyres, or whether or not Teo is not going to go for tyres this time around, and is just going to take fuel to see how these guys come out. That's a great shot. We can see both of them at the same time. Keep us there, please. So Paul Clark is off the floor by the looks of it.
Yeah, he is.
He is, isn't he? Oh, no, Teo's off the floor, definitely.
Yeah, we saw him jump up to the floor, and there it goes down back to the floor, I think. What was that?
Oh, Teo's going to get this. Teo's going to get this. Paul Clark has been late. Paul Clark was later up in the air than Teo Sattenberg, and he is going to get it. Also in the pits as well as Byron Crawford.
It's going to be an interesting one, because he has to drive now
there
on the way. Oh, no, never mind. I will never doubt you again, James. Did he have tires in the car?
Who?
For a second, it looked like he had no right side tires on the car.
Yeah, no, Paul Clark, and Paul Clark and Teo Sattenberg there. So basically, Sattenberg went up a lot earlier than Clark did. Now, obviously, common sense tells you if something goes up sooner, it's going to come down quicker. Changing tyres. Paul Crabb and Mike Bousson from Team Radline are in the pits as well. I'm guessing that is under a no tyre stop rule there for Paul Crabb, because 47 seconds on the pit lane. Everybody else that's changed tyres has been over a minute. Same with Mike Bousson. So I think they're getting past that scrub range of tyres, and I'll go in once it clears off past that uncontrollable rubber, that it does end up making the car a little bit more consistent. So I think that's what Mike Bousson and Paul Crabb are doing, and I'm pretty sure Rudolf Nagao is going to try the same thing. However, let's give a big honourable mention to Gary Truby. He's not yet done his pit stop, but is now in the dizzy heights of 4th place. So well done to Gary there. Rafael Blanco is now just made his move past Damien G coming into turn 1. There is Rafael there as well. You've got to leave him room, Damien, leave him room. Good job, buddy. Well done that. Damien G. They've almost got the same livery, just in different colours there, Rudolf Nagao and Damien G, haven't they?
They look really, really similar, just like you said, in different colours. And I have a funny feeling they actually do have the same livery, but just in different colours.
Yeah, there's
and
Damien
of course,
G.
different sponsors on the side.
Yeah, there's Damien G's one there, and there's Rudolf Nagel. It looks,
Really similar.
well, it looks the same one to me, just in, as you say, in different colours. Maybe I'm wrong, but hey-oh, never mind. Right, back to the action we go, and Rudolf Nagel there, and he's still got past Damien G. Paul LeMay chasing down Teo Sattenberg. I'm not quite sure why that fancied popping up on screen, so apologies for what you're about to see as well.
I didn't see anything.
No, nobody saw nothing. It's amazing when you've got touch a button on your keyboard and next thing you know your taskbar pops up. Gary Truby's in the pits and now obviously going down the order. Paul LeMay trying to chase down Teo Sattenberg, who cleared Paul Clark by 7 seconds down that pit stop.
Yeah. Also, it is, if we take a look at Dennis Kyrgiopoulos compared to Marnix Heister, that gap is around about 20 seconds. Did Dennis Kyrgiopoulos take tires and did Marnix Heister just take fuel?
Marnix pit stop 49, Dennis Kyrgiopoulos 107, so yes.
Okay, well that tells us the story then. I think Marnix Heister is going to try and go to the end now. On these old tires, and Dennis Kyrgiopoulos is going to try and have to gain 20 seconds on these new tires. Do you think that's possible?
I don't know if it's possible. I'm not going to lie. If he's going to gain that amount of time back on fresh rubber, but I think towards the last 10 laps of this race, as my secret informer told me, they're going to really struggle. And I think at the end of the day, they've kind of now could leave themselves open to Dennis Kyrgiopoulos, because although he's got, 40 seconds to second place Paul Crabb, if Paul can't stop that car within that last 15 minutes, 20 minutes part, and Dennis has got fresh rubber on, then, yeah, he's going to be right up there, I think.
He will be. Also, the two who haven't pitted yet is, if I'm correct, Damien G. He hasn't pitted yet. And Rudolf Nagel. He also hasn't pitted yet. So we will see him into the pit lane probably shortly. But those two have gone past the halfway point of this race and still haven't pitted. So I think they will have done the strategy that I would have done and put full fuel into the car.
Yeah, I think I would have run that. But then if that's what they're going to run on an hour on a fuel tank, full fuel tank, within the next 7 or 8 minutes, they've got to be coming into the pits. So although Damien G is now second overall in the AMS, led by his teammate from BSR, Gary Truby, he's obviously going to lose time. But Henning Hagen is right up the back of Damien G at the moment. Damien's got to be struggling a little bit. Excuse me. With Henning closing up so much as he did, and obviously Henning's on a 46, so he didn't take tyres either. So if they've basically got a pit stop over a minute, they've taken tyres. Anything under a minute, they haven't.
Well, Henning Haig got, of course, involved in that start crash, but after that, he has been really, really consistent, putting down the laps. Of course, got stuck behind traffic, as he is now, because, of course, Damien G is, for him, it's traffic, because Damien G hasn't pitted yet. So, apart from that, it's been a really, really consistent performance from Henning Hagen. I think if he would have been up there with those top guys, he would have definitely been in with a shot at some silverware.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely as well. The pit lane times are on your left-hand side, guys. So anything over a minute, and they've pitted and taken tyres. Anything under a minute, and they've definitely not. Now, the borderline is Rafael Blanco, and whether or not Rafael just changed one tyre, as we see Marnix Heister, I believe that was he? No, was that Marnix? No, there was a car sat in facing the other way then, going down into turn one.
Bramer, maybe.
No,
he's still in the pit lane.
Michael LeMay. Oh, Michael LeMay. What happened to you, young sir?
Too deep, yeah. Too late in the brakes.
Yeah, and away he went, and now he's just sat there. Gary Truby has looked like he's had an incident, but he's back up and running. Still in first place, still gained 14 positions. Not quite as many as Marnik Heister. Marnik's has got 15 position gained, but Henning Haig is now trying to get onto the back of Gary Truby, so that's going to be an interesting battle, as he's got Damien G, Taya Sattenberg and LeMay all together. So a nice little pocket of four-way here. We've got two Team Slow-Mos, Two Brothers Racing and I Lounge Racing are going to be all together very, very shortly as we're coming into the last 35 minutes. What do we think? Nagal's still not gone in, G's not gone in either.
We saw last week, or 2 weeks ago, I've made that mistake numerous times now, learn. 2 weeks ago, we saw, of course, that the last pit stops were made as Damien G now goes into the pit lane, if I'm correct.
No.
Gary Truby?
No, Gary Truby went in.
Okay. Well, why? Because he's already been in. Maybe a second pit stop?
Maybe, yeah.
For the people who want to make a second pit stop, it's going to be probably around the 30-minute mark. A drive-through maybe for off-tracks then for Gary Truby, as he has only driven through pit lane. That's a costly one.
Gary.
But we saw the last pit stops 2 weeks ago at the 30-minute mark. So that was the furthest anyone could run on a tank of fuel. We don't know if that was on a full fuel tank, but that's all we know from last week, is that the furthest they've got on a full fuel of tank maybe was 30 minutes, so around the hour.
But they've gone obviously full fuel at the beginning.
Yeah, well, we don't know if John McCutcheon was full fuel at the beginning, but he made his one and only pit stop with 30 minutes to go.
Yeah.
So that will tell me that if he was on full fuel, that we will see the people that have made that want to make the two stop, and the last people that want to make a one stop, that we will see them all in around 3 to 4 minutes.
Yes. Very much so. We're going to see Nagal and G in. Depending on what the others have done with their fuel, I don't believe they're going to probably have to try and stop again. I think they probably would have gone straight to the end on this one, Dan. Sandra Capella is back in the pits as well. Damien G still not pitted. He's got 2:15 on the clock. He's still going round again. And Rudolf Nagal still hasn't pitted either. And Terje Sattenberg is chasing down his teammate Henning Haig from Team Slow-Mo. So Henning Haig and Terje Sattenberg there together. They're going to be chasing down as we see Sandra Capella at the top part of the circuit coming out now. We're never going to really know what the drivers are going to do in the car, right? Because we just don't.
No,
we're never going to know, are we?
We can't read their minds, so no, we can't. No, we can't.
No. So I think only time will tell. I think Damien G and Nagal have run full fuel because it's generally about an hour on a fuel tank. So Nagal and G here running full fuel. I think Nagal is somehow as well testing the borderline of that tyre and whether or not he's going to be able to go again without having to change the tyres. He's not stopping again. He's looking to get around about the 30-second mark. To Taya and Henning Haig have just swapped positions there as well. Sattenberg has just got ahead of Haig going down into turn one. So no team orders at Team Slow-Mo. They're currently out in front, but I think Rudolf Nagal is just testing the water and seeing what he can do on his tyres. That's my philosophy.
If that's the case, he's just posted his fastest lap time of this race at 1:28.12. So,
okay.
If that's the case, those tires are in perfect shape at the moment. Of course, that will be done with not a lot of fuel in the car. He will have to fuel up for around about 30 minutes. So he will have half a tank of fuel almost into the car, which will change the balance on those tires. But if that tells me anything, that tells me that these tires are at least not done.
No.
They still have life in them.
I think, do you know when you get a tyre deg on Formula 1 tyres, and you get to a point, once you've scrubbed the deg off, the marbles, you can go again on the rubber that's underneath. And I think that's what this has
Never
happened
driven a
here.
Formula 1 car, mate. So I don't know.
No, but you must have watched Formula 1 like racing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, of course.
Yeah, so they obviously talk about tyre deg there and how, you know, once you get past the initial tyre deg, you can literally get rid of you go down into the new rubber. So
Graining, they call it, I think.
graining, yeah, same thing. What's the difference? Same thing.
Well,
Stop being
graining.
pedantic.
Graining is the fact that the rubber just rolls up onto the tire because there's too much heat from the inside of the tire.
Yeah, and then when they get rid of that, they go again on the rubber, don't they?
But you shouldn't get graining in the first place. Graining is a result of the tire getting too hot, and that means that you've pushed the tire too hard. So if you don't push the tire too hard, there won't be any graining, which will mean that you can be gentle on the tires and have pace through the whole stint.
Okay. Kettle Larson and Byron Crawford now are having a battle down on the run down the start finish straight coming into the centre as Kevin de Sol there as well, and then dropping down into the centre S's. They're going to go left and then they're going to go right, and that is Kettle Larson up into 17th place overall at the moment. Telja Sattenberg and Henning Hager still having a battle. Stephen Place is being caught up on the back of by David Walters. Stefan Mellis is not having a good time. Got himself caught up again in another solo incident by the looks of it as well. So we won't go and show poor old Stefan Mellis' downfall currently that's happening at this moment in time, because he's obviously having a bit of a rough one. And the last thing we need is to worry about that. And as for their messages in YouTube, what was that all about? Well, you don't need to worry about it unless you want to be all by myself. Anyway, Dan.
Oh no, you just started singing again.
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
Of course not.
Got to have a good sing song every now and then. It keeps your brain thinking and functioning and makes you alive.
Can we make a deal now, James, that when we get to 1K subscribers, that you do a little bit of song for us on the piano that is behind you? Because we know there's a piano behind you. I'd love to hear that.
Yes, there is a piano behind me. And if we, okay, yeah, but 1K subscribers, God, the deployment, that's going to be at least a year away, if not more. So if we do get to 1K subscribers, then yes, I will sit and play the piano. But, you know.
Someone clip that.
It's going to be a long way off, I think. But look, you're going to help that by, I suppose, being here for the first time. You can subscribe, turn on the bells for notifications, give the video a big old thumbs up. So technically, you know, it's all over onto you wonderful viewers. What actually happens. But Damien G is in the pits now. Damien G's dropped all the way down the order. He's in 18th. He is into the pits. 53. Is he going to hit that minute mark? If he's hit that minute mark, he's probably taking tyres. Yeah. Oh, 59.4. That's a bit. He might have only taken 2, depending on which side of the tyre he took. So there we go. But Rudolf Nagel is still not in. That's over an hour and 3 minutes.
James, if you would, of course, if you take 2 tires in the pit stop, that will unsettle the balance of the car, because there's not a uniform degradation pattern in the tires anymore.
Right.
Would you go for that, or would you just leave the tires on, or change them all 4?
Depends what. Depends what the car is doing, and whether or not you've got more wear on one side than you have on the other. So obviously, if the right front, for instance, is getting worn the most, and the left is still at 80%, then that 20% difference between a brand new tyre on one side and the other side probably isn't going to be that much of a difference. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. True.
But obviously, if the left is like down at 30, yeah, you don't want to stick 100% on the inside, on the right, because obviously that might cause you problems. But it depends on what your situation is on the side of the tyres. That's obviously you're looking at changing, I think.
But
there we go.
Still, if it would be me, you don't have a uniform degradation pattern anymore. Of course, if you know the right-hand side tires degrade faster than the left-hand side tires, the right-hand side tires will catch up to the left-hand side tires. So it takes some laps maybe, but it's an interesting choice that you have there, and I think we will see some drivers that, of course, do 2 tires, And I'm interested to see which kind of lap times they can pull off.
Well, we are going to be finding out, I would have thought, because it depends. It's really tough because we know that they can go without actually changing tyres at all. And I'm trying to keep an eye on Rudolf Nagel and try and pick up when he goes into the pits. But,
is he actually going to pit?
well, he's got to. That car has not got that that much fuel in. Do you know what I mean? They can't go an hour and a half. I definitely don't think. I'm pretty sure I'm right that they can't go an hour and a half on a full load of tank here, because it's just not going to happen. But David Walters, however, has got Paul LeMay closing right up behind him as well. Paul's got his brother Michael in here as well. Michael's currently down in 21st, 9th overall from Two Brothers Racing. Teja Sattenberg, Teja's going to go. Oh, I thought he was going to go round then. That looked like he was going to spin.
Yeah. When he cut onto him, he almost looked sideways, but he was using all the road that he had available.
He definitely was. So I think
Rudolf Nagel in.
Nagel's in.
Yes,
right,
he's
let's
into
have
the
a
pit
look.
lane. Is he going to go up into the air?
No.
If not, this pit stop will take around 25 seconds. He's done 10 now. He's all the way at the end of the pit lane, so there we go. Oh, that's a really short one. 16 seconds of a pit stop and 35 seconds on pit lane. That will probably keep him in the lead.
Just about to find out. Paul Crabbe is going to be looking at coming around that corner very, very shortly. That's Sandro Capella. Crabbe is behind him.
But that's a big gap.
Yeah, Nagel's at the front, Crabbe's at the back. So Paul Crabbe, the gap is now out at nearly 4 seconds. So Nagel there making a constructive decision that we managed to keep him in front. Now, obviously, he's confident on this car without tyres. I don't know if I would be.
We'll soon find out what kind of pace he can do. But yeah, if I look at the gap now to Paul Crabbe, he seems to be losing quite a lot to Paul Crabbe. That gap was 4 seconds at the beginning of the lap. That's now 2.8, so it's coming down rapidly. But yeah, just a reminder, that gap before Paul Crabbe went into the pit lane 30 minutes ago, it was 8 seconds to the good. Now, he found himself 4 seconds behind Rudolf Nagel when he came out of the pit lane. So Rudolf Nagel has done a terrific job of just creating that gap and using that lighter car to his advantage.
But can he hold Paul Crabbe behind him? Crabbe's gap's 2.7. Can he hold that behind him? No, that's the problem.
He has a whole different balance into the car now, so he will need to get used to that. He hasn't driven the car in this way with these worn out tires and this amount of fuel in the car.
Yeah.
So he will need to settle in a little bit, but I think once he's settled in, there's a good chance that he will at least be able to put up a fight against Paul Crabbe.
Yeah. Well, Crabbe's gap's now 2.9.
It's not impossible, let's say it like that.
No. It's not impossible. Takes so much more curb there than pretty much most people. I bet he's praying. I think this is Sandro Capella in front of him. Yeah, but there we go.
Gets out of the way for him nicely. Paul Crabbe. I love these sequence of corners, but I also hate it when I drive it myself. It's also this car because the way you brake in these cars, you never, and that is what James taught me, you never hit 100% in these cars. Maximum maybe 70%. And that's really weird to me because I'm a trail braker. I stamp on the brake as hard as I can and then let off. But if I do that, I lock up in the first phase of braking. So I love the sequence of corners if I can take them normally, but it's really weird because you're turning and braking at the same time, which we all know is very tricky to do.
Yeah. Absolutely, and I think I was just watching Paul Crabb's gears there because I was thinking, where could I be losing time to what Paul Crabb is doing? And at the moment, I think it's just all over the track, to be honest, because he does look visually quicker than me in a lot of places, and it gaps back out at 3 seconds. Michael LeMay, however, is not going to be carrying on. Michael has jumped straight into the pits after this incident.
No, around, easy to do. Oh, does he get sent back to the pit lane by racing? No.
No, that's
a weird one.
Yeah. Not sure now. Stephen Place is in the pits now as well. So Stephen Place there in the pits. There's a few cars sitting nice and comfortably in there at the moment. Henning Haig and Taya Sattenberg are going to be coming along, and that's Stephen Place dropping down into ninth. These guys are still competing together. The guys from Team Slow Mo, Henning Haig and Taya. Now, we're kind of in this point of the circuit where there's not really lots happening apart from this exit from Paul LeMay and Stephen Place on the left-hand side. There they are, they come out together. That's Paul LeMay going to be out in front. Stephen Place is going to be in behind him currently at the moment. So Paul LeMay there with Place. Sattenberg and Haig are still together, and then there's gaps a little bit further down after that. There isn't really much room there as well. Bonjour les gens, bonjour ça va?
You're better in French than I am.
Depends what he types next, is depending on what I say. So, yeah. Oh, dear. But I don't know. They've got 19 minutes. We know Nagal's not pitted. We know Crabb has pitted, didn't take tyres. So it's really dependent on how these are going to handle it. The gap's back down to below 3 seconds again. You can see it in the top left-hand corner. So, yeah, I think this could get nicely spicy by the last, well, now, any time from now, because it was obviously informed that the last 10 laps, it's going to be whether or not you're going to be able to keep it on track.
Indeed, it will be. Also, will be interesting if Martin Seister had a really short pit stop as well. Have to say, 29 seconds, 49 seconds overall in the pit lane. Is that just a full tank of fuel, and will that him be full to the end, or because that seems quite long, or quite short for a full tank?
Well, he pitted on lap 25. There was people pitted before him as well, so yeah, I think it should be good to the end. Everybody's dependent on how these tyres are going to hold up. And I think that's going to be the trial for everybody, is how these are going to hold up. So just have to see how that one pans out, I think, mate. 17 minutes remaining. We're never going to really know how he's been up until that point. Do you know what I mean? Because this is going to be, as we read out earlier on, this is going to be the first real test on how they do with the tyres.
Yeah, of course.
So we're never going to really know how they get on until this test is done, really.
So what we're looking for, you're saying, is the last 10 minutes of this race, these tires should be going off, is what we expect.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well then, Paul or Rudolf Nagal has about 7 minutes left to create a gap to Paul Crabb on these tires, which I think Paul Crabb has made a mistake or has had some traffic on his lap, because the gap is back up to 3.5 seconds. But after that, we're expecting him to drop down quite a lot.
That's necessarily the solution. Yeah, that's the scenario that should take place. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. Are there more people who haven't changed tires? Because if I look at their pit stop times, the top 4, all of the top 4 haven't changed tires yet.
No, none of them has. Yeah, none of them have. So, yeah. Felicitations, bravo, Zach Sweeney. So there we go.
What is this about? I do not understand.
Zach has just basically said the reason his French is so good because he got 7 in his exams.
Oh, that's good.
So all I said is congratulations, well done you.
What is the bonjour thing about? What's that?
Bonjour is hello.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I learned something, as you always do, watching the JP Broadcasting channel.
Yeah, exactly. You know, what more could you ask for? Yeah, it's basically hello. Dan, come on. Keep up, man. Have we not taught you
I am bad
anything?
with languages. The only language I taught myself is English and Dutch. So that's the only 2 languages I can speak. So not a lot.
Okay, well, you know.
English not flawlessly as well, either, so...
It's not too bad. Trust me, there's people who are English who still can't speak English. You know?
That's also true.
Yeah. So, you know, what more could you ask for? But there you go,
$1
Zach.
million?
How are you? Sorry?
$1 million?
Maybe.
Euros, pounds?
Maybe.
It'd be nice to have them. No?
It would be nice, but I've got no hope. I suppose the problem is I've actually got to stick the lottery ticket on, and I don't really do that. So there we go. But I hope you're well, Mr. Zach Sweeney. Hope you're well. Or as you would say, comment allez-vous? So there we go. Please don't go any further though, because I think I've probably run out of all of my phrases that I actually know now. So yeah, if you go after that, I'm knackered. Oh, Zach. Do me a favour, young sir. Be a moderator and scrap off them things for me. Thank you. Oh.
It's annoying, isn't it?
I know. You expect spam on other platforms, but not on YouTube. But they seem to have found their way into YouTube.
Especially racing is...
I know.
It's the last place where you would expect them.
I would understand if I'm, you know, sitting here just chatting in not a lot of clothing, but I'm not really. You know what I mean? We're talking about sim racing and talking about how Terje Sattenberg and David Waters is going to go at it with Henning Haig, and however Stephen Place has jumped. Nope. Yes. No. Stephen Place hasn't been in the pits. I thought he was just registered to be in the pits there. I think it might take a too tighter entry. So David Waters has climbed his way back up into 8th. Henning Haig's managed to get back up into 9th. Terje's done a stellar job. He's up 10 places from where he started. David Waters is down 1. Henning Haig is down 5. So I think we're going to be looking at, these guys are going to be looking at trying to close the gap up on each other. I think they're too far away from Blanco to really make any difference. And this currently is your closest battle on track at the moment. So we'll keep an eye on this one as it materializes, but we are coming into the last 10 minutes, which on all of our understandings is when the tires go completely and utterly wrong.
That is what we expect. But the gap from Rudolf Nagel to Paul Crabbe is still 3.2 seconds. So it seems like those tires are hanging on perfectly fine at the moment for Rudolf Nagel, as are they for Monix Heist, because the gap to Kerry Couples is still 10 seconds.
Yeah. The question is, for how long?
Well, they will hope till the end of the race, but for some action, I think we hope that maybe a minute or 5 before the end that they will go off.
Oh, Waters is going up the inside of Sattenberg there. Job done for David Waters as he went into running on that run round to SA and then up into Bico. David Waters got the job done now. All he's got to do is trying to defend it. The problem is the leaders are coming through. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 back markers in current play. We've got these 3. There's one coming down the hill, and there's another one behind that as well. So there's going to be 6 back markers for these to overtake. But it just goes to show that these guys are nearly lapping all the way up into P7. So, you know, stellar job from the leaders there currently at the moment as well as they come round. They're coming round Sabido, so they're basically just a corner behind these guys. on this one round, and there's a 12th place, which will be Paul Clark in front of us. So yeah, we're going to have the back markers are going to be starting to be involved in this race as well. So to see how this one pans out, Dan, I think.
It's going to be an interesting one. This battle has been brewing for a long time. This is David Walters, Terrier, and Henrik Haig. Henrik Haig, both Norwegian drivers finding each other on track from Team Slow-Mo.
Yeah, we've got quite a big Norwegian contingency this season. You've got 3 currently in this one as well. There's also, I believe, I think there was 5 in the World Cup that took place on Friday. So yeah, the Norwegian Vikings are in full force, should we say, and I wouldn't want to be going out anywhere as them. However, I have been given the opportunity to do axe throwing for my brother-in-law's stag do. Now, I'm not quite sure if that's a Norwegian hobby or not, but no harm in having a throw of an axe, I suppose, is there really? Lobbing it against the wall and see if you can make it stick, I guess.
There's a certain technique to it, I know that, but that's everything I know.
No, you just stick it behind your head and throw it. Arms up, job done. Don't you? Is there any more?
I don't think it's that simple, because the axe has to hit the board a certain way to stick.
Look, I've seen it on TV. Seems easy.
But that's with everything. Like these drivers, it seems easy to be this quick, but then if you go and actually try it yourself, you'll find that you're a second or 2 off, even though you're seemingly doing the same thing.
No.
It's the very small details that matter.
Yeah, so what are you saying? I've got to be careful how I throw the axe to make it stick in the wall?
You always have to be careful throwing an axe, James, let me tell you that.
Because, you know, I've just seen it. They put it over the back of the head, and they just literally stand there, launch it, and it hits the board every single time.
But these drivers just send it into the apex, hit the apex every time, and are quick. And if I try and do that, I'm not succeeding in it.
Well, sometimes we've got to make sure that you can actually get off the start line first, Dan, as well, without giving yourself a penalty.
Oh, yeah, true.
Yeah,
and then not understanding why you got the penalty.
Yeah, you know, jumping the red lights wouldn't give you a penalty at all in iRacing, Dan.
No.
No, I guess not.
For the people who don't know what we're talking about, James and I did some racing this week on this exact track with this exact car and track combo. I got a jump start for some reason. I still don't know why. Maybe because I rolled back on the start and I did not hold my brakes, because it is a downhill start in neutral. With the clutch in, you of course do roll backwards. I did not know that, so I got a jump start.
Well, there you go.
So don't do what I did.
Yeah, don't do what you did. Us normal people hold the brakes, put it in full throttle, because I'm definitely not clutching. I haven't quite worked out the clutch and the biting point of this car yet. So there we go. I'm definitely not figuring out the clutch purpose of this car. So I just literally had it in. Ivan Bramer once told me, he goes, just put it in gear, put your foot on the accelerator and hold the brake. He said, and when it's time to go, just let go of the brake and still hold the accelerator down on the floor. I was like, okay, go, I'll try it. And I managed to get off the start line. So there we go, a little tip for anybody that's struggling to get the SR10 off the start line. Literally, hold your throttle all the way down to the floor, press your brake, and then when you get green, just let off the brake, and the car just pulls away nice and slowly. Well, not nice and slowly, obviously you get some grip, and then away you go, like, but yeah, there we go, job done.
Yeah. Maybe we would have said that to Lucas Dolzer, and he would have got off the start line better.
Yeah, but not.
Now we'll know for next race.
Maybe, yeah. You're gonna everybody, the handy tips we can thank Ivan for, because at the end of the day, he's the one that said, you know, if you just hold the accelerator down and press your brake as hard as you can, the car ain't gonna go anywhere. So, you know, I thank Ivan Bramer really, because without Ivan telling me, I wouldn't have had a clue what was going on, apart from the fact that I definitely knew I was never ever going to clutch this SR10 off the start, because I just cannot get it right. And I've only got a single clutch, I don't have a double. So literally once the release is done on the first time, I'm at the mercy of my pedal. And with my club right foot that's quite heavy, because I like pressing the loud pedal rather loud, it goes a little bit wrong.
Sometimes.
No, like every time I try clutching off the start, Dan, I've spun it up and gone round in a circle.
Oh no, that's not good.
No, no, that's why I gave up.
These cars are really tricky to drive, but we are now into the last 10 minutes, James. Tires seem to be holding on perfectly for Rudolf Nagal, as are they for Marnix Heister and the rest of of the top 4. Basically, our yardstick is Marnix Heister compared to Dennis Kyrgiakopoulos, because the top 4 all haven't changed tires. So in the end, they will all be on the same strategy, and Marnix Heister is not losing too much time to Dennis Kyrgiakopoulos.
Yeah, I did say it was going to be difficult for Dennis to catch him up. That 20 seconds is a killer extra. Why that became a thing, I do not know, where they fuel now and then do the tyres after, because that's just absolute killer.
Why?
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why it was changed. If anybody has got any suggestions why it was changed, please let us know. But yeah, iRacing went from fuel and tyres at the same time to then fuel, then tyres.
Well, I have an idea. It opens up to more aggressive strategies, or more tire-saving strategies. Because if you do the tires at the same time as you do the fuel, in a race like this, you basically go to the halfway point, fit it up to 3/4. The tires will be done by the end, so you don't really lose anything by doing the tires. So you can just push on, and it is basically a one-stop race for everyone. So with doing the tires after the fuel, they have created
A problem.
a more no, not a problem at all. They've created more different strategies.
Well, yeah, I can understand it. I just don't think that's. I'm trying to think back of other series that I watch on TV and whether or not the pit stop strategies with fuel takes place at the same time.
Endurance racing. WEC, they're not allowed, or IMSA, they're not allowed to change tires during the fuel period.
Okay, so maybe that's where iRacing's gone then.
Yeah, could be the case.
But surely,
Because if you take a look back at the endurance races that iRacing does, you're also only allowed to do tires after your fuel.
yeah, but that's the natural run of how it runs anyway now, isn't it?
I think iRacing has gone to a more general way of doing things, and just doing everything separately for everything is quite a good way to do so.
Yeah, I can probably gather there's
At
a few
least I
drivers.
think.
Yeah, but there's probably a few drivers that don't agree with you there. Not gonna lie, there's probably a few people that definitely do not agree with you on the fact that this was a good idea.
And that's probably the people who haven't got the winning strategy.
Do you have the winning strategy, do you?
Well, if you do tires and fuel at the same time, the winning strategy would basically be what I just said. Take tires when you're doing 3/4 of fuel, so basically put it to 45-minute point, halfway through the race. Do tires and fuel at the same time, and everyone would be doing that. So
Right.
there's no way for you to gain an advantage on basically strategy-wise.
Okay.
That's what I think. Not what I say is gonna happen, that's what I think would have happened.
Okay.
And I think a lot of things.
Yeah, and sometimes they're not always right, are they, Dan?
We're not talking about maths here. This is
Oh,
strategy.
okay. Sorry, that's a completely different topic for another day there. As we're seeing Paul Clark battling with Stephen Place within the last 2 minutes 45 here on the clock. I'm keeping an eye on the leader. I think we're going to have there's going to be 2 laps, I believe, from where Nagao is currently at the moment, being that he's got 2:31 on the clock. So you're going to have 2 more laps of this 90-minute endurance race in the Radical SR10 here from Interlagos, broadcast live on the JPB Broadcasting channel, and using iRacing, the world's premier simulator as well. So much love to you. And of course, you've got myself and Daan Pepels in the booth. We've been here for the last hour and 28 minutes. So if you have just joined us, where have you been? And we've seen, it's been a mixed bag today, I think, regarding this race, because it wasn't as action-packed as the other day. The action kind of happened at the start, with Dozer spinning up. But the problem is obviously it kind of killed everybody else's momentum after that, because Henning Haig has really suffered from that spin up, and so have a few others as well. So yeah, that spin up at the beginning, that incident at the beginning with Dozer, really kind of almost killed it before it began, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, I agree with that. But for someone who, for one man, it hadn't killed his momentum. Paul LeMay, he has been mighty in that AMP class. from start to almost finish, basically, now.
Yeah, he's only down 2. He's only down 2 slots where he was when he started. And for an AM driver with a, you know, I rating difference of 2, and he's got 2.5K, and Nagal's got 5.1. So, you know, big old difference, like. Rudolf Nagal is going to come along and take the last final lap of the race. Lap 61 here tonight, and Rudolf Nagal is on the final lap. He's going to be taking that victory in 1 minute and 28 seconds time, round about that. Marin Grigic has unfortunately had an incident as well, and it looks like he had an incident coming out of the pit lane, or near the exit for the pit lane. This is down into Interlagos. He's going to lock them tyres up, and he's going to go round.
Was that a case of cold tires, James?
Possibly, because he had just been entered into the pits. So maybe it was cold tyres there as well. Rudolf Nagal now is coming round, down, dropping down into Pinorino before he goes left up into one of my favourite corners, Bico de Pado, only because the name sounds cool. So, you know, love that one. He's going to take as much curb as he can on the inside. And then he's going to run it round down Mugello and down into the famous Junção, where Hamilton went up the inside of a Toyota, I can't remember who was driving, to take the championship away from Massa. I still think that was fixed and that Toyota pulled over and let him through. But, you know, that's just my... Glock, yeah. I still think Timo Glock pulled over and let him through, but that's just my opinion. Right. Rudolf Nagal is going to be your victor here this evening. There he goes. Rudolf Nagal takes the victory tonight in the 90-minute endurance radical sim racing race. Paul Crabb has run out of fuel. Paul Crabb has run...
Is he going to get to the line?
Is run out of fuel, and Mike Busson is coming. Mike is on his way. Crabb is just around this corner. Can Mike get him? Crabb's not over the line. There's Crabb there. Mike's going to take it. Busson's got second place. Where is Marnix Heister? I think Paul Crabb's across the line now.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he is across the line now. But Mike Busson, hold on, he looks like he's running again now. That was a little bit bizarre. Did he let Busson through?
I
don't know.
What has happened here then?
I don't know.
It
It
seems
looks like
like
he's let him through, didn't it?
yeah. It's
Because
just
he's got fuel to go round again.
Is this a Barrichello Schumacher moment?
Maybe. Maybe. Blanco crosses the line. David Waters is going to be coming. That bizarre. David Waters is going to be coming over the line as well, with Teo Sattenberg behind him and then Haig behind that as well. Oh.
They were almost a full lap behind. Oh, Hennig. Yeah, he's got nothing to lose. He's going to finish into the pit lane. Maybe a drive-through in the end?
No, it really doesn't matter for him. Yeah, Henning Haig has finished their job done. Right, so here, let's bring you up the results of the race. Go for it, Dan. Huh? How did that change over on his own? I never actually touched anything.
I don't know.
I don't know.
OBS on its own.
Yeah,
Half the
literally,
people heard us.
I literally did not touch anything.
Half the people heard us. Half the people heard the standing.
Yeah, they've had the standings. It was all up and running because I was sitting there watching you. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what happened there, but there's the standings on screen. Very bizarre. I've got to be honest. Literally, I didn't even touch my stream deck, so I'm not quite sure what happened.
Go through them again. We can go through them again if you want to.
Yeah, go through them again just to make sure.
Yeah. Rudolf Nagala finished in first, out of Mike Bousson, Paul Crab in third, Marnix Heister in fourth, Dennis Kiriakopoulos in fifth, sixth, Rafael Blanco, David Walters in seventh, Turrier in eighth, Henrik Haig in ninth, 10th, Paul LeMay, Paul Clark in 11th, 12th, Stephen Place, Kettle Larson in 13th, 14th, Colin Wynn, Gary Treby in P15, Byron Crawford in 16th, 17th, Damien G, Marion Grishit again.
Yeah.
Grigic. In 18. Yep, got it there. In 18. 19, Daniele Cascado. 28th, Guy Robertson. 21st, Sandro Capello. Stephen Mellis in 22nd. Michael LeMay in 23rd. Lucas Dolter 24. David Ralston in P25 and P26. E1 Bramer.
Well, there we go. That is the standings again for you there. Not quite sure what entirely happened there, but we've got Marnix Heister sitting in the waiting room currently at the moment. Marnix, who has come in with a wonderful fourth place and a 15th place gain this evening. Marnix, how are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm fine, thanks. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm not bad at all. You didn't take tyres, did you?
I did not know. I'm about to look what my tires were. The lowest was 23%, and that was on the right rear.
Okay, that's not too bad though, is it? What was your front?
The front was 25, the right front. I mean, the left front was all right because, of course, the track goes left, which means the right tires takes more. But the lowest was the rear 37% and the front was 47. So I got a few messages from iRacing saying that I had to take it easy on my tires, but we survived.
Well, there you go. But overall, it was a good race, though, mate, wasn't it? It was a bit of a rocky start. Lucas Dozer there having an unfortunate spin up, and that put him, well, in front of everyone, pretty much. But you managed to make your way through that one.
Yes, I just kept to the right because all the corners was on the left, and luckily we got through like Moses.
Yeah, parted the sea and made his way through. Different story going into, because you're doing the sprint race overall as well, aren't you, on Friday?
Yes,
Yeah, and that's going to be a tough one, isn't it?
what race are we planning next week? What was it?
You don't even know what circuit you're at.
No, I've been too busy with Interlagos this week.
Yeah, I know. We were talking about that as well. How we've been involved in some obviously officials this week as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting one. It's Watkins Glen.
That's always nice to race it.
As well.
I mean, yeah, with the boot and chicane. I think it was with the chicane this time.
Yeah, with the boot. Yeah.
All right, cool. That's really interesting. Looking forward to that one. Always provides good racing.
Yeah, absolutely there as well. Well, Marnix, much love to you. Thank you so much for joining me in the booth, and congratulations on your fourth place.
Thanks, guys.
Take care, mate.
Have a good evening.
And
Bye.
You, bye. Right, so there we go. Now, we have got drivers lined up, and they're in completely the wrong room. So if they are watching, guys, Marnix, everyone, tell them to go to the other room, because that would be nice, because I can't move them from here. So I'll tell you what we will do. We'll bring Stefan Mellis into the booth as well. So, no, what's going on? There we go. Stefan, welcome in. Thank you so much for joining us in the booth this evening. How are you, sir?
Thank you very much. I'm fine, Dan. How are you?
Oh, not too bad, mate. Very well. Tough race for you. Looked like you were involved in a few, I'm not going to say incidents. It looked like sometimes a few solo incidents for yourself.
Yes, it was very solo. It was a terrible race. Last Friday it was pretty good, but now it was very terrible.
Okay.
I struggled a lot with the tires from the beginning.
Mm.
This was my first endurance race, and I have to watch my tires much more.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. You know, I've just spoke to Marnix, and he didn't change tyres at all. Didn't change tyres at all.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think the fact that some people are struggling and the fact that some people aren't, you know, it just goes to show the different kind of driving styles, doesn't it, really? But look, you know, onwards and upwards, that's what I say, especially if you've had a bad one, you know, go to sleep, forget about it, move on and look forward. You're taking part in the Friday sprint race, aren't you? We're at Le Mans for the Friday sprint race this week.
Yes, I will be there in Le Mans also. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I love the track.
Good.
But I don't know if I'm quick or not. But those guys from the endurance race are very, very quick compared to me.
Well, they'll be the same guys, but I think you're down in the AMS, aren't you? So, yeah, I think you'll be down in the AMS on Friday. But look, Stefan, congratulations on finishing your first race, and congratulations to actually finishing the race, because there are some drivers who didn't do that. But much love, and thank you so much for joining us in the booth this evening.
Okay, no problem. See you Friday or Sunday.
Take care. Right, so we need him into the waiting room, Dan. If we can get him into there, that would be ideal. So next, joining me in the booth is Mr. Dennis Kyriakopoulos. Dennis, how are you, sir?
Hello, James. I'm very well, thank you.
You can tell the difference, that gap that you lost to Heister in 4th place was the fact that you took tyres and he didn't.
Yeah, exactly. Apparently, changing tires was not necessary. I didn't practice enough to know that, and since I don't have a teammate to inform me, I was left in the dark.
Yeah, I think it's, to be honest, Dennis, I think it's a little bit of it's a challenge, isn't it? Let's just say, if you're not going to take tyres, it's going to be a challenge for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think...
Yeah, of course, it's very slippery if you have worn tires. But you still gain like 20 seconds, I think. I checked the lap times.
Yeah, I don't think, you know, they weren't too far off towards the end. You know, look, Raphael's last lap time was 1:28.47. Yours last lap time was a 1:28.81. So there wasn't too much of a trouble, was there?
Yeah, I think I learned something at least with the tires, so we'll see next race.
Yeah, see you next race. Well done, Dennis, on your 5th place. Is there anyone you want to give a big shout out to before you go?
My boy Mike, of course, and the whole Radical community.
Yeah, it's been absolutely incredible as well. So thank you so much, Dennis, for joining us this evening.
Thank you, James. Bye-bye.
Bye. Right, so next on the list, I wanted this man and his teammate, but his teammate seems to have gone to a complete... Oh, there he is. Mr. Pousson and Mr. Crab, welcome in. How are you?
James.
You all right?
Yeah, good.
All right, Paul, did you run out of fuel or did you let him pass? Because it confused me.
Oh, I let him pass. I mean, I still had 5 litres of fuel on, which was one of the reasons why I was, 3 seconds behind.
All right,
3 seconds behind Rudolph.
But why did you let him pass?
Oh, because he's getting team points. I'm not scoring for the team today. It's Mike and Stephen Plass.
Oh, okay. Why haven't you separated into like Team Radline Gold and Team Radline Silver?
I don't know.
Because
we're only entering one team, and John he's got into, I think, into the upper stages of a bowls competition, so he couldn't make it tonight. So
yeah, but I was just saying that if you were obviously split into 2, you all could have scored points this evening.
We could have, but it would then be for 2 different teams.
Yeah, but you'd still be under the Radline banner, just a different colour.
I know. But it is what it is.
All right. Well, overall, guys, Mike, you are here. You can say hello. Hello, Mike.
Hello, Mike.
Hello, Mike. Well done, Mike. Look, overall, it was a good race, wasn't it? A little bit chaotic at the beginning with Lucas Dozer spinning up and going round, and then NNA just joining him, and then it just all went a little bit wrong. But you both made it through past that, which was always a good start. But I found once that was kind of the race killer, because the people that should have been up the front having that battle weren't, because they either have damage or they were trying to get back through the field, and it kind of threw the excitement out the window because everybody was in a different place.
That's right.
Definitely,
I mean,
yeah, it definitely gave us a lot more breathing room than we probably deserved, and yeah, so it was just down to us three really for that first stint at least.
Yeah. And how did you find it? You know, how was the no tyres rule? Because you know, was it Mike? You changed tyres on the last endurance, didn't you?
Yeah, no, I've had a little bit of practice with it this week because I swore blind to myself it was impossible for me because I was chewing tyres up. But like this evening, I was saying to Paul, last night I had a quick go, was a lot faster, but killed the tyres, and then I've sort of gone a little bit too far the other way this evening, where I've sort of dropped off the pace a little bit too much, but I had plenty left.
How was your tyre wear on them?
I think the lowest was probably about 57%, so not too bad.
Oh, it's not too bad, because Marnock's, who was in fourth, I think one of his tyres was like 27.
He's an animal.
He's an animal, so you could have got a little bit harder there, Mike, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's finding that happy spot really, isn't it? But
Yeah.
it comes with practice.
I think the thing is as well, he's opened his eyes up to plenty of the other drivers. It's like Dennis Kiriakou says he didn't have a clue that you couldn't even make it without taking, you know, tyres at all. Because as we know, the SR10, by all accounts, has been chewing tyres, and by the time you get past that hour mark, you're no more stronger than Bambi on ice, to be fair, are you? But it seems to be that once that initial wear wears off and you get down a little bit on the rubber, you seem to be a little bit more being able to control it, I suppose, would you say? Either one.
yeah, definitely. As long as you don't go off like a scalded cat at the beginning. I mean, I had my tires were 80% at the halfway through and 60% on the right front at the end. So, and I mean, I could have gone quicker, but it would have mean dropping down gears and spinning wheels up on the exit of corners. So I was sort of taking a highish gear and very wide lines, trying to be as gentle on the tires as possible, and it worked. Yeah, I was close to Rudolph. If he hadn't been bloody saving fuel behind Mike all the first stint, I think I would have had him.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, he went a long old way.
Yeah.
You know, he went to lap 44 before he actually decided that he was going to get into a pits. But look, overall, it was a good race. You know what I mean? We've got this Friday at Le Mans in the Sprint Championship. Then we've got, in 2 weeks' time, we've got Watkins Glen in the Endurance. How are you feeling? How are we feeling about these races coming up? Mike, let's go with you first.
Le Mans, I've not really done much on Le Mans, but I'm looking forward to it. Watkins Glen Endurance, most people know the track really well, but I don't know how many laps that's going to be, but it's probably going to be quite challenging.
Yeah, Paul?
Yeah, I'm happy with either. I don't actually like either track that much. They're both. I probably prefer Le Mans than Watkins Glen. Watkins Glen gets a bit boring after a while.
Hey?
Yeah, I know. You
so
wouldn't think
two long straights and a few wiggly corners at Le Mans, and you're telling me that's more interesting than Watkins Glen?
It is, because there's more opportunity to get past people. If someone's going well at Watkins Glen, it's difficult to overtake.
Oh, okay. On an overtake purpose, I'll give you that. But I think on the race purposes, for me, I prefer Watkins Glen. But look, guys, we are going to finish off there. So much love to both of you for jumping in. Is there anyone, Paul, you want to give a shout out to first?
Oh, shout out to Mr. Busan for fixing my pedals for me a couple of days ago. So I know it sounds a bit incestuous, but he supplied me with a board an old board from his HE Ultimates, which fixed my pedals for me, which is great.
There you go. And Mike, do you want to shout out to Paul for fixing his pedals, or are you going to shout out to somebody else?
Well, I'm going to have to give it to Paul just for playing the team game. And yeah, thank you.
Well, there you go. Well done, guys. Thank you so much for joining me, and we look forward to seeing you on Friday.
Okay, cheers.
Bye-bye, James.
Bye, mate. Right, so there we go, guys. That is going to round it up for us this evening. Dan, come back in. One sentence. How did you find tonight's racing?
One sentence. Difficult one. I'm gonna go for 2 words or 3. Chaotic. And different strategies.
Absolutely. Well, there you go, guys. I've been James Parfitt. That was Dan Pepels. And all that's left for us to say now, as always, is take care, have a great week, and you never know, we might see you on the track sometime. Good night.